What's going on? It's Big E. We're back with another pod. Today we're talking about baseball and Major League Baseball's return. First off, I got to mention we're recording this Thursday night, Friday night. So tomorrow night is our SYP NHL Draft Lottery live stream on YouTube. You're going to want to watch that. I might cry depending on if my Red Wings get Alexis Lafreniere or not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we trade the pick. What do I know? And then also sign up for the SYP Summer Olympics. We'll have a sign up on our YouTube video in the description below. So you can sign up your team for the SYP Summer Olympics starting July 31st. It's all going to be great. It's all going to be wonderful. I might cry in both. I don't know why I'm talking about crying so much. Anyways, we are a go. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball. And in case you're watching the video portion of the pod, I'm wearing a Notre Dame hat. I wear Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame football. Coincidentally, their quarterback is named Ian Book, so that's something relatable. We're big Ian Book fans. We're big Notre Dame fans. Also, fun fact, Blue Jays second baseman Kevin Biggio went to school at Notre Dame. So, that's relatable. That's something. I actually like the Blue Jays a bit more than I think some people do. Obviously, baseball's not big with people under 40, so people don't know how good the Blue Jays are, even though the Blue Jays are good. We'll discuss them a bit later, but with Biggio, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, they got a really cool shortstop from the University of Vanderbilt, so we'll talk about them later on. And in case you're wondering, baseball is back. Baseball is starting July 30th, I believe. That's going to be the actual date when it starts. Possibly it might start even sooner on July 24th, but I would predict probably July 30th is at least baseball will be going on by July 30th. Instead of the usual 162 games we play in a Major League season, we're going to be playing 60 games. Great. Wonderful. We're going to be doing also a 2.0 spring training because when the pandemic really became a concern, we were in the middle of regular spring training and we weren't sure when baseball was going to come back. But now baseball's back. Spring training, July 1st, that's when teams should be reporting back to, or teams, should be reporting back and players should be reporting back all within this week leading up to this July 1st Canada Day spring training. We're going to have the regular amount of teams in the playoffs this year. We're going to have 10 playoff teams, 5 in the AL, 5 in the NL. And in case you're wondering the salary structure for the season, the players are getting their full pro rata. So good for the players. Except, again, we're only playing 60 games, so that means they'll earn about 37% of their regular salary. Not great if you're the players. I'm sure they're not thrilled with it. I'm sure some players will sit out. But anyway, so let's go over the timeline here. I got my notes, my journal that I'm going through. Again, I'm a nerd. I like to take down notes. So March 11th, I believe, was when the NBA canceled their season, and basically everybody was canceling everything, and COVID became real. So March 26th, so 2 weeks later, there's an agreement with prorated salaries between the owners and the players. It basically just says however many games we play this year, the players are going to get paid on a prorated basis. So if you play 82 games, you get paid 82 games worth. So like Mike Trout makes, I don't know, $35 million for a full season. If we're playing 82 games, if we're playing half a season, he's getting paid half, so he's getting paid 18 and a half. So, basic economics. All my business majors out there know what I'm talking about. All my econ majors know what's up. That was agreed upon on March 26th. May 26th, so 2 months later, the MLB goes to the players, and they make a new offer of 82 games, but a sliding scale salary method that basically fucks the highest paid players and impacts the lowest paid players the least. For example, again, Mike Trout, popular guy, not to many, but at least to me. Mike Trout would have made approximately $10 million, $12 million with 82 games instead of the whatever 30% he's making this year. So again, he's making 10 million, 12 million anyway. So the owners kind of get what they wanted. But the original offer was just fucking anybody who is making any good money in baseball. Really kind of what America should do in just taxing the rich and just, making the rich pay for everything, because Jeff Bezos does not need a fucking $1 trillion. That's what the baseball owners were trying to do to their players. So the players obviously said, fuck that. That is not happening. And the MLBPA came back on, was it May 31st? And they offered, I should move this just so I can actually see it better, 114 games. That was what the players offered with the full prorated salary. Now, to give you an idea of what we're going through here, the owners are crying poor because no fans are going to attend. There's going to be, I would say, zero. Like, obviously some places are different. Florida is different than Seattle, but no fans are going to come. No fans are going to show up. So 3 times the MLB has offered some sort of deal to a player, like to the players, which basically has approximately 50 games of play. That's average, I believe, of what the owners have given the players of, we might be able to do 60 with this amount of, cutbacks. We might be able to do 40 with this amount of cutbacks. We might be able to do 50. The owners really, 2 months after COVID and after their March 26th agreement, the owners are just like, yeah, we can't do prorated salaries. It just can't happen. And the players are like, but you agreed to this in March. And the owner's like, we know, but we can't do that. And so then they offered more offers. Basically, how it's worked so that, how can I say it? Every offer that the owners have made to the players has approximately come down to about 30 to 35% of their full season salary. Just straight up, no questions asked. We're going to give you up to 35% of what you would make this year with cutbacks. We can't do prorated salaries. And again, the players are like, but you agreed to this. And the owners are like, yeah, again, but sorry guys, we can't do this. So except for the June 17th offer that the owners made, which was for the 60 games prorated. So this is getting down to the very end. Like, by this point, people don't think we're going to have a season. People are just done with baseball. They're done with the owners and players bickering. And the players counterpropose 70 games. Owners say no. So really, it got to a point where the owners were offering 60. The players were offering 70. They were literally just 10 games apart. They just said, we're 10 games off. We can make this work. And it was by this point, that Manfred said, I'm not confident in a baseball season. He said that. Rob Manfred, commissioner of baseball, he said that about a week after, like no more than a week after saying, I guarantee a baseball season. And less than a week later, he followed up by saying, I am not confident baseball is going to be played this year. Great. Wonderful. This is the same guy who wouldn't take away the Astros title for cheating, wouldn't basically do anything, to the Red Sox when they were caught cheating, just brushed it under the rug as if nothing happened. We have a deal. So now we have a deal, 60 games. Season starts between July 24th and July 30th. Basically, what's going to happen is that we're going to play the 60-game season, which isn't really going to count as a full season, but we're going to play this season. The players are going to file a grievance against the owners to somebody. I don't know who it goes to, some labor court of some sorts, in the spring, in the winter, whenever this is all done, and we're going to miss out on more baseball next year. Again, if you listen to the hockey podcast I did earlier today, I gave a proposal on a 3-on-3 fantasy tournament, all-star tournament, that I would be much more interested in watching than these qualifying round and playing games. I figured out how baseball can essentially work. You see, I don't know how the rest of how all these stadiums are like with parking and access to and from. Obviously, in Seattle, they're near the football stadium, so you have more parking there. It's not quite around the stadium per se, but there's parking all over. So my idea was that I don't know how many people have been to Dodger Stadium, but I'm going to try and provide a description of it. Dodger Stadium is up on a hill in LA, in the north part of LA. It's up on a hill. It's all by itself in this hill range. There's nothing near the stadium. It's just this ballpark and some hills and some parking spots. Okay. It's beautiful. It's very nice. You have to drive up to it. I think that's a decent enough description. What you do if you're an MLB team or you're Major League Baseball, you play games in two venues. You play games in Dodger Stadium, which has all this parking, which has all this space next to it, and you play games in Angel Stadium in Anaheim, which I've never been to personally. I've driven by it. It's just a stadium with empty parking spots for miles around, and I don't know how close it is to Disneyland, but there's a lot of space to work with there too. You can do quite a lot there. So what you do is you sell designated lots. You sell designated spaces where people can tailgate and bring their camper or bring their trailer or whatever, and then you somehow film the games. Like, people can go on their phone or their iPad or their computer or whatever and sort of live stream the games in their camper or in their trailer while they're tailgating in their designated space. You can do this in LA and Anaheim with the games being played in the stadium. That's not a problem. There's some sort of either location or the only problem with it is just figuring out how to hook up live streams so that people can watch the ball game that's just right there. You might even be able to set up a big Jumbotron or a couple big Jumbotrons for people to watch as well. And then the other thing you do with that, so while you've designated your tailgating spot, because you can probably get at least 100, if you've been to Dodger Stadium, you can get at least 100 campers, trailers, whatever. If you give them enough space, you can get at least 100 in there. And they can pay, for one game, two games, 4 games, the whole day package, or like a season package, whatever. Let my econ and business majors figure that out. You do that in LA, you do that in Anaheim, and the other thing you do is you sell suites, because what baseball owners have been crying poor about is no gate attendance. Fine, we'll give you gate attendance. You can have people come into your suites, and they even section off some club seats, because those are, your highest income earners coming through who are going to pay to go watch games. And suites, I feel like you can socially distance and limit people coming in and out. You come in at, you can come in at a certain time to get to your suite. Some people come in at 1:20, some people come in at 1:25. You have to be there at a direct time. You sit in your suite and you watch the game. You don't mingle with other people. And there, you make your money through suites, some club seats, and some tailgating. There you go. That's making up some of your lost revenues, baseball. Why aren't you doing this? This is the best idea you're going to get. I'm not even an econ. I mean, I did win top business student at the high school I graduated with. Not a big deal. But that's how you do it with baseball. Like, that's how you recuperate some of your dollars. I don't know if you can necessarily do that with hockey. I don't know what the setup is in Vegas or any of the other hub cities, Edmonton or Toronto. I don't know what Toronto's pretty dense and tight, so you're not going to be able to segregate spots for people. And I think the same with Edmonton. Football is going to be another thing we're going to talk about in another pod. Same with the NBA. But basically, you just play 5 games a day in each venue. You go from 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. So basically, you designated 3 hours for you to play this ball game, which really you shouldn't even have been taking 3 hours to play a ball game, but you got 3 hours to do it, and you do whatever they're doing with the extra runners. If you get to a 10th inning, you throw an extra runner on second, and that should help speed it up. You put the, and I know the math doesn't quite work with getting in all the games, 5 games, only play games Thursday and Monday. I know the math doesn't quite work for everybody to get involved, but at 8 a.m., people will watch the Yankees and the Red Sox. I mean, people are all at home. What are people going to do, like, on the fucking East Coast? People are going to watch the Yankees and the Red Sox at 11 a.m. on the East Coast. You throw that game on ESPN, people are going to watch it. Same in, Detroit, Miami, Toronto. People are going to watch that at 11 a.m. There's something else on to watch. So, and then, at 8 p.m. at night, you get the people in Seattle and LA. People are going to watch San Francisco. People are going to watch that. They're at home. Nobody else is doing anything else. So, fucking, there you go, baseball. I got that sorted out for you. That's what baseball should be doing. Instead, I think they're going to try and play games in everybody's stadiums, which I don't know how that's going to work, because there's no way you should be going from Seattle to Texas in a matter of days. That doesn't seem legit. That doesn't seem like a good idea. So, anyways, what's going to be interesting too is considering some players might not participate, as we were seeing in the NBA. Again, Mike Trout, third time getting reference here. He should come on the pod. Mike Trout is in a bit of a pickle. His wife is pregnant, and she's expected to give birth anytime this summer. I don't know the exact date, but I know it is when baseball should be happening. So he's got a really tough choice between now and the end of September as to if he should be playing or if he should be looking after his pregnant wife and eventual child. What would you do? You want to go make an extra $10 million going to play, the 60-game season and who knows the fuck where with people that you don't know if you should be hanging out around with, or should you be fulfilling your family obligations? That choice might seem more obvious to some, but that's the type of pickle that we're dealing with bringing sports back, and especially baseball, where you have, up to at least probably 50 members of a team's personnel who are traveling. I don't think that's egregious a thing, maybe 35, 40, but it's definitely a lot more people than should be in any group. Yeah, so we'll see. But again, it's probably not the wisest idea, for teams to be traveling, from Seattle to Texas and then to Phoenix and then up to Denver. Doesn't seem like a great idea. I could be completely wrong. Again, what the fuck do I know? I'm just some libtard who wears a mask when he goes out in public. Really critical on myself tonight. I don't understand why. Again, playoffs, 10 teams. So basically 2 wildcard teams meet in a play-in game, and the winner of that play-in game goes to the actual playoffs against the top team in each league. And in case you're confused, the National League and the American League, not just Major League Baseball. Although that would be a cool concept to see, happen as well, is teams playing to take on the number 1 seed in each league conference. So that would be interesting. The other thing I guess I should be mentioning, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, will there be social distancing? And, reading this Sports Illustrated article here conducted by Matt Martell. Never heard of him. Sure he's a decent guy. Sure he means well. loves baseball, so he must be a decent guy. It's not like baseball has any problems with racism or homophobia or, misogyny. No, that's not baseball. Baseball is a gentleman's sport. Anyways, in case you're wondering, will there be any social distancing in baseball this year? Yes, when practical. Players and coaches and umpires aren't going to be maintaining social distancing when they're on the field. Players aren't going to be wearing masks on the field. I mean, again, that's the beauty about watching Mike Trout. I should change it up. That's the fourth time. But anyways, actually, no, let's use another name. Cody Bellinger, another LA kid. Cody Bellinger, part of the beauty of watching Cody Bellinger is that he's beautiful. Dude's hot. Dude fox. He might have a girlfriend, actually. I shouldn't say that. Cody Bellinger is not the type of guy you want wearing a mask. Beautiful. You want to, show him off. Guys aren't going to be wearing masks in the dugout or the bullpen or on the field. When possible in the, dugouts and the bullpens, the league is saying that players should maintain a distance of 6 feet from one another, which is going to be interesting because I want to see Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzy Albies. I was thinking about who that was. I want to see both of those guys just, fucking around in section 118 by the foul pole and actually, there's the third out, so you guys got to get back on the field. And they're just, running from basically the foul pole in right field back onto the field. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to just see those guys, sending Snapchats, to their, girlfriends, buddies, doing IG lives while, Freddie Freeman's batting. And they're just chanting, in the crowd, hey, better, swing, better. And, shit like that I think would be really funny. Let's see. Yeah, players should maintain a distance of 6 feet from one another in the dugout. Good luck with that with 25 people. Only players on the active roster who are likely to enter the game are allowed in the dugout. So if trying to think of another name outside of Mike Trout. Christian Yelich, Milwaukee Brewer, if he shatters his ankle, God forbid that happens, and he's on a crutch, he's not going to be chilling out in the dugout. He's going to be watching the game, maybe with the tailgaters that I suggested earlier. And also pitchers who are not scheduled to pitch that day, as well as inactive players, can sit in the stands. If players and coaches want to lean on part of the dugout, they need to do so with a, quote, clean towel as a barrier between themselves and a railing or ledge. The best part about reading this SI article written by Matt Martell, this dude even, doesn't outright explicitly say it, but I get the impression reading from him that this just sounds stupid and this isn't going to happen. Because is the umpire going to be like, hey, you need a clean towel, if you're going to lean on that railing? Okay. Sorry. My bad. Just trying, players sitting in the stands or elsewhere to social distance are expected to adhere to the same conduct as if they were in the dugouts or a bullpen. That means no cell phones or electronic devices. Oh, so the guy who's, banging the trash can for the Houston Astros can't be up in the 300 level and just boom, boom, boom. I still haven't forgot Houston. Again, as a Mariners fan, I'm not disappointed that I am disappointed they did it, but it's not like the Miami Seattle Mariners were going to beat them even if they weren't using a trash can, because the Mariners were certainly not good enough. So it doesn't really impact my team in that perspective. Just as a general baseball fan, it just sucks. Individual lockers need to have 6 feet of separation from the others. Good luck with that. And if that isn't possible, then temporary space should be built to accommodate additional lockers. Good luck with that. Mound visits. Yeah, nothing really interesting with mound visit. The fun part is the celebrations or lack thereof. There's going to be no high fives, no fist bumps, handshakes, or hugs allowed, and there's no dog piles at home after walk-offs. That sucks. That's going to be disappointing because that's like half the fun of baseball is seeing somebody hit a walk-off dinger and just the boys at home plate just crowding it, like ready to celebrate and tear your jersey off, unless you're Jose Altuve because you're wearing a wire. Again, people for the visual pod can see my disdain on my face. Yeah. You would think with all these games, Matt Martell mentions in this article, will games take longer? I would think so. I mean, all this dead time, all this bullshit that we have to do in between playing baseball and all these rules we have to follow. Yeah, it's just whatever. It's going to take longer. Baseball is probably going to be even more boring to watch. Yeah, great. Another fun thing, there will be a DH in the NL this year. So in case you don't know, the AL and the NL did not have a DH in their same leagues. The NL had pitchers hit while the AL had DHs hit. That rule was created in the 70s, and it's still happening 50 years from now. Congrats for finally adapting Major League Baseball. You just did it 50 years too late. Too late. Also, pitchers will have to face at least 3 batters or secure the final out of an inning to leave the game. That's right. Pitchers are going to have to face at least 3 batters or secure the final out of an inning. I think that's a decent rule. I don't know. Maybe it'll limit pitcher changes. I don't know. I have to see it to actually believe that it's going to work. Who knows? Which is also funny in this article. Speaking of which, managers are not supposed to have 2 pitchers warming up next to each other, but the health and safety manual the MLB created saying they should utilize every other mound or other means to create as much physical space between them as possible. Fun fact, most MLB bullpens only have 2 mounds because you're only allowed to have 2 pitchers warming up, so that's why you have 2 mounds. Thanks, baseball. That's going to be fucking awesome. Trying to see, a second, pitcher trying to warm up down the hallway. Maybe he should just, warm up in left field. He's not allowed to, fucking warm up on the mound. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, so extra innings. So now, starting this year, I don't know if we're going to see it in the future. If we get to the 10th inning, there will be a runner on second at the start of every inning. Again, I don't know what that rule is like. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I maybe have seen it once with the Vancouver Canadians of the Northwest League in single A. I'm trying to think of what the actual single A is. I want to say low ball, but it's not low ball. Short season single A. That sounds right. And I think they applied that rule. And I think I maybe saw a game there with it. Can't confirm. I don't know if it's going to be that much of a difference, really. I think the strategy is still going to be the same. Teams are just going to let their batters swing away. I don't think we'll see bunts. I don't know if bunts are really the way to go about the runner on second. So we'll see, though. Who knows? Trade deadline. There will be a trade deadline August 31st. Speaking of August 31st, that's one day after the SYP Summer Olympics. And yeah, just got to throw that little plug in there, just a little spice, little sprinkle of the SYP Summer Olympics. It's going to be really funny, though, to see how that goes, because if you think about it, sorry, having to move here. If you think about it, what player is going to be so hot after 30 games that you're going to have to trade for? Like, I don't know. Trying to think of a fringe guy. Scooter Gennett. Nobody knows who he is. Scooter Gennett, Cincinnati Reds. Let's just say he hits 500 on base percentage. He has a 400 average. Hits 25 home runs in 30 games. Not going to happen. But just hypothetically, someone just kills it in the first 30 games. Is that guy just now Babe Ruth? Is that guy just now like, oh, that guy's a legend, we have to go get him? It's like, no, you have to be realistic about this because, again, as my econ and major people, will tell you, there are ebbs and flows, there are highs and lows in an economy and a market. And this dude, while he's hitting 25 home runs, he's probably going to hit 180 in the second half of the season. That's for trading. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, some players are probably gonna sit out as well. In case you're wondering, like Mike Trout's probably gonna sit out. Also, Garrett Cole, according to Matt Martell, is gonna become a father this year. Congrats, Garrett Cole. Good thing you signed your major deal with the Yankees when you did. Yeah. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot else new and exciting. In case you're wondering who's going to be good this year, well, the Dodgers should. They got Mookie Betts. And in case you didn't know about that, the Red Sox inexplicably traded Mookie Betts for 50 cents on the dollar back in February, March. No one understood why. Red Sox fans hate it. Dodgers fans love it because they just give approximately one, Betts is a free agent, arguably the second best player in baseball, and the Dodgers are like, fuck it, we'll take him for a year. What we just stock up our payroll every year. What's another $20 million? And it's not even $20 million. It's they only get to pay him fucking $10 million, not even, I wouldn't think. So Dodgers should be good. Yankees are probably going to be good. Depends on Garrett Cole and what his situation is. I would think he might play. Tampa Bay Rays are usually pretty good. I like the Rays more than some people. I like them because they're smart, although their guy, Cher Bloom. No, he's a sham. No, I think it's Cher. I don't know. He's got a weird first name. No offense to him. Smart, really smart guy. One of the smartest dudes in baseball. Now he's with the Red Sox, and then they traded Betts. The Rays are always usually good. They got one of the best starting rotations in baseball. Root for the Rays. Seeing the Rays win would be cool, except I don't know if they're going to get a stadium. I don't know if they're going to be playing in Tampa in a couple of years. They might be in Montreal. So the Rays, I like them. The Braves are fun. I like the Braves. Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Freddie Freeman. They got some good pitching. I like the Braves. I think they'll be good. Phillies might be good with Bryce Harper. I don't know. They were supposed to be good last year. Kind of like the Maple Leafs. They kind of just struggled. Never really got hot. Never really worked out. The Washington Nationals, who won the World Series last year, they might be good. Who knows if last year was just a fluke. Juan Soto, that kid is awesome. I love that kid. That kid is fun to watch. You should go follow Soto on Instagram right now. Good Instagram follow. Trying to think of anybody else. That's in the East. The Central's going to be awesome. I have no idea what's going to happen in the NL Central this year. Cubs got good players. Got a new manager, though. Kind of a change in, leadership. Don't know what they're going to be like. Cardinals, I was not expecting them to be as good as they were last year. They're going to be reasonably good, at least 500, I would think, maybe better. The Brewers with Christian Yelich, always fun to watch. That team is better than people think. Josh Hader as a closer, really good. Pittsburgh has never been historically good in my lifetime. Maybe this is the year they somehow magically turn it around. Who knows? Same thing with the Reds. Has been historically bad throughout my lifetime. Maybe this is the time to turn around. Shout out Joey Votto, Canadian. Mr. Walks. Dude just gets on base. In the AL Central, Minnesota's been good, but I don't think anybody really believes in Minnesota that much. Miguel Sano I've really liked for a few years now, but he's never hit that next level. I don't know if anyone believes in Minnesota. Cleveland was the cream of the crop for that division, and then they're just like, actually, we don't want Corey Kluber, who's our best pitcher and a strikeout king. We're going to ship him to Texas, and everybody's just like, okay, that was a bad idea. It's almost on the lower level of, I think he got traded, but they just let him go. And anyways, he's not an Indian anymore. Cleveland Indian, I should specify. He is white. I don't mean to sound racist. It's just a racist name. They still got Francisco Lindor, Mr. Happy or Mr. Smiles. That dude's fun to watch. That dude's always happy. He's always smiling. We'll see if he's smiling when he plays for not so good Indians team this year. The White Sox are supposed to be good. I've been trying to say that for 2 years now, and they haven't really proved my point. Maybe this is the year with Tim Anderson and Yohan Moncada. Jose Abreu. Maybe the White Sox. I don't know. Who else is in that division? Kansas City. They're not gonna be good. Detroit's not gonna be good. Am I missing somebody? Nope, that's everybody in that division. In the West, in the AL West, the Angels have Mike Trout. I mentioned him again. They always waste his talents, it seems like. They just picked up, what's his name from the Nationals? God damn it, I can think of him right now. Son of a bitch, I can't think of what his name is. They picked up a really, really good player, gave him a bunch of money, and now I can't think of who it is. The name's going to come to me, though. Name will come to me, though. So the Angels are maybe going to waste Mike Trout's talents again. Maybe not. I don't know. The A's always start the season slow and then pick it up in the second half of the year. I don't know if they're going to do that again this year. I hope not. I really like the A's. I was really disappointed I didn't get to see their wild card game with Tampa Bay this year. I was in Japan for the Rugby World Cup, so I didn't get to see that, unfortunately. That kind of sucks. Watching it back in a sort of a rewind, it's about what I expected. Astros. The Astros are the biggest wild card or X factor this season. Because we thought they were good. Like everybody in baseball thought, wow, this is, a really good team. Even though the Astros were tanking in the early part of the decade, you could have made an argument that the Astros were the best team the best team of the 2010s. I mean, you have Altuve, you have Bregman, Carlos Correa, George Springer. That team's loaded. Now we find out they're cheating and stealing signals, and it's a big deal, by the way. Don't let any of those assholes tell you it wasn't. It was a big deal. Also, Justin Verlander, strong starting pitcher. He's still good now. He's still elite. I don't know I want to say the Astros are good without stealing signs. Maybe they'll go back to stealing signs. Who knows? Maybe they'll just keep doing it. Maybe they're just like, well, we can lose another first, while we're losing the first round pick and getting fined $500K and losing our manager every year. Fuck it. Let's just keep doing it. So the Astros might keep doing it. Who knows? My Seattle Mariners are going to be garbage. Texas, also an X factor. A poor man's Houston. I even know Houston is in Texas, but in terms of baseball, the Rangers are a poor man's Astros. They strike out a lot. The Rangers do. Hopefully they can limit that. Also, Dodgers are supposed to be good. Colorado, wild card, I don't know. They got Nolan Arenado, who's arguably the best third baseman in baseball, and I think that's a safe argument to make. Who knows if they're going to be good. Same thing with Arizona. They both surprised me, well, in different ways. Padres have been signing major free agents, trying to make trades, trying to be good for a while, but it's never worked. They got some guys I like, Machado, Eric Hosmer, Chris Paddock, and a reliever. Who knows if they can put it together again. And I don't think the Giants are going to be that good. I think the Giants are still rebuilding. Let's go back to the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays are good. Maybe not now, but they will be. I actually really like the Blue Jays. I think if you want to get back on the Blue Jays bandwagon, now's the time to do it so you don't look like one of those people who showed up like when they started winning like everybody else did 5 years ago. God, that seems like a long time now. Again, so I mentioned their most prominent player, I would say, is Vladdy Guerrero Jr., who's going to be playing DH or third base. I think those are fair positions for him. Probably Bo Bichette is probably shortstop. He's probably their second biggest star on the team. I like Bichette. I think he's a good player. I think he's got got a bit of a bat on him, even though he only hit 11 home runs last year. I think he's still got a bit of a bat on him. Probably the other guy too, I like Calvin Biggio. Biggio, how would I describe Biggio? He had 123 strikeouts last year and 83 hits in 354 at bats. So he's striking out 30% of the time. That's way too high. So if Biggio can cut down on his strikeouts, Bichette can be a more, I don't want to say consistent. Consistent's not a fair word, but solid hitter, more contact hitter, and Guerrero can just do his thing. I think Guerrero just has free range. We really all just need to cut down on strikeouts. They really just need to be smarter hitters, which they'll do this year. This is the year they're just going to be smarter with the bats. Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays will be fun. The other guy I want to talk about was their draft prospect that they pick up. They picked up this year. His name, I wonder if it's in here. It's not in here. Okay. Martin. Austin Martin. Okay, I knew it started with an A. I just couldn't remember what his name was. So Austin Martin, shortstop from Vanderbilt. Listen, if you don't know baseball or college baseball, that's fine. That's okay. Not a whole lot of people do. If you're taking a kid from Vanderbilt in college baseball, it's like taking a kid from Alabama in college football. I'm trying to think of what the junior hockey comparison would be. London Knights. Yeah, I mean, he's coming from a smart program, a safe program. They just breed baseball players at Vandy. Like, they have a football team and a basketball team, and I think the baseball team is the best out of all of them. And it was a smart pick because the Blue Jays took him at 5, and most people thought he was going to be taken second or third. And he's kind of not a utility player. Like, he'll be more than that, but he can play center field, second, short, third. He can play a bunch of different positions. That kid's going to be solid in a few years for them too. So the Blue Jays really just need to get some pitching, which they did this year. They got some pitching with Hyun-Jin Ryu from the LA Dodgers. I think they kind of overpaid for it, but they kind of had to because they just needed starting pitching. But once the Blue Jays, probably next year, they'll get the pitching figured out. This year, part of the thing with the Blue Jays is that Rogers owns them. Rogers Media, like Rogers Sportsnet. Rogers owns them. And Rogers is kind of losing money with the hockey thing. It's not working that well. And I think they're making cuts in baseball to make up for that. What's the proper word? To recoup those losses. Again, shout out my econ business. Okay, I think that's enough with them. But anyway, so the Blue Jays are usually not going to be usually like in a regular year, the Blue Jays aren't going to be prominent free agent destinations just because it's Canada, it's Toronto. Most guys aren't going to live there year round. It's kind of like basketball. It's kind of like the NBA where guys don't want to live in Toronto throughout the whole year. It's the same thing with baseball guys. But give the Blue Jays 2 or 3 years and they will be fantastic. Hop on the bandwagon now, watch these guys, grow up with these guys, get connected with them, and then in a few years, these guys are going to be something special. Now for my Seattle Mariners, they are not that good. If there's one team, here's the thing. If the Seattle is going to win a World Series, it's going to be this year. The 60-game season where no one knows any of their players. No one has any film on them. No one has any scouting on them. You want to know how bad my Seattle Mariners roster? And I love this team. I love this team. I love this team. This team is my first love. All right. I loved this team before anything, except for maybe the Everett Silvertips. But I love this team more than life, really, which is probably unhealthy. But yeah, so let's take a look at let's take a look at this team. All right. So you got Evan White, first baseman. Yeah, nobody knows who he is. Shed Long, second baseman. Yeah, not ringing any bells to anybody. Kyle Seager. Might recognize that name, but you're thinking of the wrong Seager. The good Seager is Corey, and he plays for the Dodgers. So the Mariners drafted the wrong Seager. Our catcher is Tom Murphy. Now, Evan White, Tom Murphy, Kyle Seager, those sound like just frat names. Those sound not even frat. I shouldn't even say frat name. Churchgoers. Those sound like white Christians. I could be completely wrong. Malik Smith, center fielder, decent player, just needs to work on his defense, which is kind of important as a center fielder. Kyle Lewis, left fielder, not bad, not bad. The kid's all right. Kid's got something going for him. Jake Fraley, I don't even know who he is, and he's our starting right fielder apparently. That's cool. I guess. Question mark. Shortstop, J.P. Crawford. I think he's Canadian. Did we get him in the – no, we got him in the who did we send over to Philadelphia? Segura? Gene Segura? Did we send him to Philadelphia? I think that's who we got for Gene Segura, even though I really like Segura. I thought he was a good shortstop. Good contact hitter. Had some speed. I guess that's where Crawford's going to be in a few years, but, like, if you already have the guy, why do you need to trade for someone who's going to beat him in 3 years? Anyways, and our DH is Dan Vogelback, who just hits Vogel bombs. I love him. He's my favorite player on this team. I remind me of myself so much. Our starting pitcher, our ace, I don't know, Marco Gonzalez. I think that's fair. Question mark? Yeah, I'd say Marco Gonzalez. I'm trying to read here. Yeah, Marco Gonzalez, UC Kikuchi, I think that's how you say it. Justice Sheffield, who we traded for James Paxton, which James Paxton was good. James Paxton had a good year and a half with the Mariners. He was the best pitcher in that team for a year and a half, and inexplicably, they traded him to the Yankees for a bunch of prospects. That guy was somebody you could build a staff around. Also Canadian. I think he's from Ladner or Langley, one of the L words. Kendall Graveman, who we signed as a free agent this year, bounced around forever. I don't know. Might be, I think he's more of a reliever, but maybe he's going to start for us. Who knows? Tejon Walker. We originally drafted him. The Mariners originally drafted him back in 2010. He signed as a free agent and just this past February. So we just let him go, and then we signed him back. Cool. And rounding out the rotation is Justin Dunn, who I think I know, but not totally. I'm going to say the kid's good. I'm just going to say it just for my own well-being. Otherwise, this bullpen, yikes. Hold on a second. Sorry for the people who are watching this on video. Matt McGill, who I swear just wrote this Sportsnet article, or Sports Illustrated article. Matt Martell. So Matt Martell and Matt McGill are not the same person. Maybe they are. Have we ever seen them in the same room together? Question. That's a hot take. He's going to be apparently a closer. So is Yoshisa Hiredo, who we acquired from Arizona. Probably butchered his name. I'm sorry. You're 36 years old. Okay. I hope you do well. Eric Swanson. Okay. Brandon Brennan. That kid sounds like a hockey player. Carl Edwards Jr., not the NASCAR driver, former Cubs pitcher. He was actually, I think, decent with the Cubs. I'll ask my Cubs friends if they what they think of Carl Edwards Jr. Dan Altavilla. He's been with us for a few years now. He's drafted in 2014. One of the few draft picks that we actually made that's still on the team. Nestor Cortez, great. Jerson Batista, great. Taylor Gulabu, great. And Johan Ramirez. I have nothing to say. Mitch Haniger is injured. Cool. I hope he comes back. I love you, Mitch Haniger. Love you. I love Mitch Haniger a lot. Austin Nola is on our bench. I think that kid's good, although he's 30, so I guess he's not technically a kid. D. Gordon is 32, is projected to be on our bench. He should be starting. He's an everyday second baseman or shortstop for sure. I don't know why we're not starting him. Tim Lopez. I think it's Lopez. Lopes. Lopes. I don't know. Don't know who that is. We also drafted him in 2012, and we signed him as a free agent from Toronto in 2018. Stellar. Dylan Moore. Okay. And Braden Bishop. That's your 2020 Seattle Mariners. I'm sorry I wasted all your time, but I just wanted to let you know what I'm working with here. I want to also let you know that I root for the Red Wings, and I'm not working with a lot there outside of a decent first line. Not a lot going on with the Red Wings. That's why I need Lafreniere. And I root for the Seahawks, and I don't know when a football season's happening, so we'll talk about that in a football pod. And I root for the Lakers, and I really just root for the Lakers until the Sonics come back, because there's no basketball in Seattle, which is bullshit. Fuck you, Oklahoma City. I still have grievances with the Thunder. So, yeah. Anyways, if I had to suggest who should you root for in for the next 3 years, I would root for the Blue Jays. They got more interesting guys. They're going to be a fun team. I hate their stadium. I don't like their city that much. Way too big, way too crowded, way too muggy and humid. If you've ever been to Toronto in August, I'm sorry for you. Good luck to the NHL players who are going to have to play in that if that's your hub city. Also, your Blue Jays, your uniforms. I like your uniforms, Toronto. I like the Blue Jays unis. I'll give you that. Yeah, there you go. Great. Actually, I'm going to do a pod, I think, one time, just talk about baseball uniforms, because baseball uniforms, fuck, I love baseball uniforms. I have a Mariners jersey that's, I think, really nice. I used to have a Mariners hat. I don't now. It's gotten too small, but I used to have a Mariners hat with like the green brim, and I think that slaps. That slaps. Some people don't like it. I think that slaps. Yeah. Anyways, that's SYP Today, baseball edition. I hope you enjoy this, because this was actually a fun pod, and I actually thought this was a good pod because I just let myself be and just talk about baseball, and I love baseball, and I know it doesn't really do a lot for us content-wise, but I love baseball. I think it's great. I'm excited to see how the season goes and what kind of a shit show we're going to get for the next 18 months with baseball, especially with my Seattle Mariners. But no, that's the big takeaway from this. Mike Trout fucks, Cody Bellinger fucks, the Blue Jays will fuck, and who knows with baseball. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Again, catch our NHL live stream Friday night around approximately 5 p.m. and sign up for the SYP Summer Olympics, and we'll have that scheduled for you. You can sign up for the SYP Olympics in the link in our description in our YouTube video. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this, and we'll talk again soon. Peace out.